All right, how's it going, everybody? Hey, welcome to Red State Relocate. We have a wonderful, wonderful guest today, Stephanie Castro. She is the Republican candidate for, what did I write? Republican candidate for State Assembly District 29 here in California. So, Stephanie, welcome to Red State Relocate. Thanks for being on today.
Sure. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
No, I appreciate it. For those watching, Stephanie and I met, 2, 3 weeks ago at like a little mixer for the local Republican
hmm
party here,
hmm
and it was a great event. And yeah, so we had we had a fun chat. I don't drink a whole lot, you get a beer or two with me, and I get yapping. Thanks for your
Yeah.
patience anyway. So
Yeah.
Stephanie, you're running in District 29. But
hmm
who's Stephanie? Tell us about yourself. Tell us about your background, where you're from, and the area you're going to be covering here.
Okay. Well, as you said, I'm Stephanie Castro. I grew up in South San Jose, as I think you did as well. We found
Hmm.
that out. We had a lot in common. We both went to Santa Teresa High School.
Yeah, there you go.
Um, yeah, and but go Saints.
Yeah.
And yeah, I grew up the daughter of a truck driver. My dad was a truck driver, but he was also a diehard Democrat.
Hmm.
So I grew up in a Democrat family. He was a Teamster. And so I grew up as a Democrat. And so I've seen both sides of the coin.
Hmm.
I'm now, as you said, a Republican. I met my husband in 95 and he was a Republican. And so I learned what it was to be a Republican and I learned the error of my ways. And so he kind of, taught me what the difference was. And ever since we were married in 96, I became a Republican.
Oh, there you go.
So and yeah, and I just I really understood what it meant. I'm all about small government. I think that the overreach lately is just way too much for too much involvement in our citizens' lives. I don't agree with it, and so yeah,
Hmm.
that's basically it my and now I've since kind of and my mom was as a Democrat as well. I think she just kind of went along with my dad. He was also a Navy veteran. But my mom now, I think I've changed her a lot. I think she sees a lot of the corruption that we've seen
Hmm.
in Washington, and she's pretty much, I would say, a Republican now.
Oh,
She voted for Trump. I got her to vote for Trump
wow.
because she is totally against the CCP. She's against Biden. She
Hmm.
sees how corrupt he is, and so she definitely, I would say, is a Republican now.
Yeah, that's good. And that's the thing too. When we talk about the Democratic Party of old, I mean, it's nothing like it is now. I mean, we talk about
Right.
the values that the Democratic Party held 30, 40 years ago, or even the JFK Democrats. I mean, their values were so aligned with what the conservative movement is now, where the left has just moved
Right.
so far left that it almost seems like easy pickings almost. It's easy to take some of these old Democrats and go, I get the party
Right.
loyalty, right? The party loyalty being Democrats, but it's just, yeah, it's definitely, uh, not the same as it was. I'll think, and yeah, so good on you for getting out there and yeah, and kind of showing people, right? We talked about that at the event we were at a few weeks ago. It's like just start showing people these old time
Right.
Democrats, right? Start saying, hey, is this really what Is this what the
Right.
results you wanted? So good job though. My mom too
Exactly.
is a big Trump supporter. So my mom's
Yeah.
Mexican. My mom's Mexican. She was a field worker back in the day. And so they know hard work. They know what it's like, and they value a strong leader too. So when they saw that in Donald Trump, a lot of I mean, look, Donald Trump got the most Hispanic vote of any president, right? Because
Right.
I think for that reason. So good job, man. Good job. Proud of your
Yeah.
mom.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. I grew up in a middle class family.
mhm.
And so I know what it is to be a hard worker. I just recently went back to school to get my degree in teaching.
Mhm.
I went to West Valley. So after I graduated from Santa Teresa, I went to West Valley,
Mhm.
and then I transferred to Fresno State. I majored in interior design, and Fresno State didn't really work out for me as much as I wanted it to. I
Mhm.
was having to retake some classes. My parents said, you know what, we can't afford for you to retake classes. So I went back to West Valley, and I got a 3-year certificate in interior design from West Valley because they actually had a accredited program there.
Mhm.
And so it was great in the interior design world. But when I decided I wanted to get into teaching, it wasn't a bachelor's degree and I couldn't teach. So
Yeah.
in 2009, I went back and got my bachelor's degree and went into teaching. And so I know what it is to be a hard worker,
Mhm.
to work for what you want and to achieve those goals. My ultimate goal was to be an art teacher. And so
Mhm.
I finally achieved that goal
Oh, great.
not too long ago. Yeah. And I worked hard for it. I, jumped through all those hoops that the education system wanted me to jump through. I have 2 clear credentials in teaching. I got
Mhm.
my clear credential in multiple subject and single subject in art. And my career basically ended when the pandemic began.
Wow.
So,
No kid.
but I can say at least I achieved my goal of becoming an art teacher and
Mhm.
working hard for that. So I know what it is to be that middle class hard worker.
No, that's great, and I think honestly we need more people like yourself. We need more conservative valued people getting into the teaching world. I mean, if there's anything we
Exactly.
learned that the '60s generation, that hippie generation, they were smart. They played the
Hmm.
smart game. They got into the education world early, and they got in it, and now we're reaping the unfortunate problems that have resulted in that. And so, we're just getting
Right.
kids taught. It's the reason why it's the reason why Red State Relocate exists. We have so many people leaving because they just don't like the stuff their kids are being taught. And this is nothing new, right? This is nothing new. I think Democrats in the state of California have been. This has been the long game, and we look at it as a problem. Honestly, I don't think they look at it as a problem. This what's happening now
Oh,
in California is this is a success to them. So yeah,
right.
we definitely need more folks like yourself to get a run for
Right.
school board, right? Get your credential and go teach. Substitute teach if you can. Just get
Yeah,
in
that's what
there
I
and
did for a year. Yeah, I substitute taught for a year and then
mm-hmm,
I got into teaching full time. And that's one of the reasons why I'm running
mm-hmm,
is because I'm, frustrated with the way things are going in the school system.
mm-hmm,
And I'm frustrated with my state. I'm frustrated with, having to leave. I was one of those Red State Relocate people that I was going to relocate
mm-hmm.
and, but this is the only state I've known. This is where I was born and raised,
Yeah,
and I don't know any other state.
mm-hmm,
And so I'm not ready to leave and just up and leave and, up and uproot my family. And this is the only state they've known too.
mm-hmm,
So, I saw all these mandates that were coming down the pipe. I saw all these assembly bills that were going to be happening and all these, mandates and forced vaccinations and even though I saw them coming, I wasn't ready to leave. I was ready to fight for my state. I don't
yeah,
want to have to leave. I
yeah,
want to fight for my people. I want them to, I don't want this to have to happen to anyone. I
yeah,
think, like I said earlier, the government overreach is just it has to stop, and I'm ready to fight
mm-hmm,
for it. It's not right what they're doing. I see my fellow Americans and fellow Californians hurting, and
mm-hmm,
nobody's happy with it. And
mm-hmm,
so I'm ready to fight for them. And I don't know any other state. I'm not ready to just go find a state yet. I mean, I know that's what you do,
mm-hmm,
and I think if I'm ready, I think that would be great. But right
mm-hmm.
now it's time to fight.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, great, great. We
Yeah.
need more fighters for sure, for sure. And I say this
Yeah.
all the time. I say I wish my business did not exist. I wish there was no need for Red State Relocate. I wish I could just go back to the tech world where I was working. I spent 18 years in IT working in the corporate world. I worked in biotech.
Wow.
Although now, and I say this all the time, they talk about burning your boats. They say, well, if you're going to start a new venture and you want to be successful, you burn your boats, right? It's the old Cortez theory, right? And hey, Red State Relocate. I got my face next to Rush Limbaugh right there. I'll never get hired. in corporate IT in Silicon Valley ever again. Right? So I definitely burned my boats. But I'm with you, man. California is my home as well. I lived in Colorado for about 6 years. I moved there in the mid 2000s. Went out there, bought a home, loved it. It was a red state when I moved there. It was a blue state when I left, unfortunately. But I think because I've seen both sides. I've relocated myself. I've relocated back. I know what it's like to move cross country, and I think that's what's inspired me to build this business. Understanding that people want to leave. But again, I had a question for you. I was going to ask you later, but it is really a good question to kind of just keep expounding on for yourself. That you're a Republican in California. You're talking about fighting. A lot of Californians want to leave. But what are some other reasons that you would say for them to stay, right? And I always talk about, we got the best food in the world, we got the best wine in the world, we've got 1,000 miles of shoreline, good fishing, we got the mountain, all that. But I don't have kids either, right? And so I have a different reason for staying. That if I had children, I might have to reconsider. But for yourself, what would you tell those who are in District 29 to say? Oh, we'll get into that too, like what District 29 covers, but. What would you say to them in terms of, hey, if you vote for me, here's what I'm going to try to do to make you want to stay?
Well, I would say we need to join together. Because I need your votes. If everyone's leaving, then how are we going to fight to win this state?
Yeah.
If all of our red votes are leaving, then we're just giving our state over to blue votes. And so I really need our red votes to stay. We need to fight this together. We have a great economy here. Our weather, you can't beat our weather. We have our jobs, we have the best high-tech jobs in the area. I just really think, and we're going to fight these mandates. I have right here, this is what's coming down the pipe. I'll send you a PDF of this.
Yeah.
But it says, if you live, work, or learn in the state of California, pay attention. So these are the Senate bills and Assembly bills that are coming, but we are going to fight this. So once we win, then there's no reason to leave because we are going to win. And people are frustrated. They've had enough. They've had enough of these progressive ideologies, and we're going to win. Like, for example, the SB 866, it lowers the age of consent for vaccination to 12 without parental consent or knowledge. Okay, we're going to win that. We're going to fight it. And they're not going to get our children. We're going to fight for our children. They're our children. They have no say so, and we're going to beat that. SB 1464 requires law enforcement to enforce public health guidelines or lose their funding. We've talked to a few of our sheriffs in our area, and they said that they're not going to do that. They're not going to, fight mask mandates. If you're not wearing a mask, they're not going to do that. So, we have to back our sheriff and back our blue so that they don't, just randomly arrest people for wearing a mask or not getting vaccinated or anything like that. So we just need to join together. There's power in numbers. So if you're just leaving the state, then there goes our power. There goes our numbers. So we really need to join together. I think that's the most important thing. And I am going to be your voice, but we need to speak up, and because I need to know who feels the same way, because there's a lot of us who feel the same way, but if I don't know, and if we don't know who feels the same way, then we'll never know. That's why I was forming a lot of rallies, and that's one of the reasons why I stepped up. We were forming rallies and we were speaking up, and we got a whole, big group together, and we got a lot of honks. People drove by and they honked because we had signs out that we were against. Back then it was a different assembly bill that they were trying to put under a bridge bill. So they were trying to put it under infrastructure and trying to, slide it in under, a vaccine mandate under a bridge bill that was like out of Oakland. And we, saw through it. They were, trying to deceive the public and sneak it in under something else. And so we protested that, and our voice was heard, and we got a lot of honks, people driving by. So, that failed. And now they're just blatantly coming out with, these other things that that are going to fail too. And
Mm-hmm.
I think it was AB 1993 requires proof of COVID-19 vaccination for all employees and independent contractors to work in California. Well,
Mm-hmm.
that has since been walked back.
Mm-hmm.
So we won that fight.
Yeah, good
And
job.
who knows, it could come back again, but
Mm-hmm.
for now,
Mm-hmm.
it has failed for
Yeah,
now.
yeah. I think the
So
Democrats in California saw the polls and went, "Uh oh, we better,"
exactly.
because a lot of people,
Yeah.
even Democrats didn't. They're like, "Hey, we're all for wearing a mask," but when you start pushing a lot of stuff, that's a lot of
Yeah.
them gave the
Push.
time out on that. Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
It should be our choice if we want to get vaccinated or not. We know the science behind it.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone knows that, it's not a preventative measure.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to prevent anyone from actually getting COVID or spreading COVID.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's just ridiculous. It's all about control,
Mm-hmm.
and the government is just overstepping their bounds to try to control people, and it's we the people. We have a say so. It's, we're the ones who should be controlling them, not the other way around.
Yeah, and I think a lot of ways too. I think when we talk about some of the things they want to teach our kids, right? A lot of the sex ed stuff that's coming out now, the CRT stuff that's happening. And it's funny. I was talking to a friend of mine a while back, and he's like, "The CRT is not that's not even a real thing. That doesn't exist," and blah blah. And I said, "Well, if it doesn't exist, why are you so mad about having us remove it and not teach it? If it doesn't exist, why are you upset
Right.
about it not being taught?" But I think there's just a real opportunity, I think, for Republicans in California that have struggled to kind of get a foothold for a long time. But when we're talking
Exactly.
about these issues, the CRT, right? You said the mask mandates, the vaccines, all this stuff. It just seems like such an opportunity for Republicans to come out, and because these are issues that poll really well on the Republican side. And it's like if there was ever a time in California's history, at least in recent history, to really start coming back and to start right showing the people that you're going to be representing and saying, look at what the Democrat left is proposing. Do you support these things? And so you don't have to go out. They're not saying you specifically, but just Republicans in general don't have to go
Yeah.
out stouting statistics and facts and logic and all this stuff that is good for Republicans. Republicans love that, but it doesn't
Right.
change any votes. And so to
Right.
start like Glenn Youngkin, right, in Virginia, I mean, that dude he went right for the parents, right? Look at what
Yep.
they teaching your kids. And Virginia has a Republican governor now. And Winsome Sears, they have a
Yep.
Republican attorney general. It's amazing, right? On that one
Yeah.
issue, and they pushed it hard. And I think yourself, a lot of other Republicans in California, really have that opportunity. So I think
Right.
you've got a lot of what they call the low hanging fruit there.
That's
to go
right.
after.
Yeah. And CRT does exist, but they're just calling it something else. They're calling it ethnic studies. But
Mhm.
in fact, my old school district is the one where they are modeling that. They're using my school district, and that's where it's being taught to incoming ninth graders. So
Mm.
it is there, and I've attended school board meetings there, and they don't want to hear what the parents have to say about it. They completely shut them out. They won't listen to it anymore, and it's not right.
Yeah.
The parents want to be able to have a voice. And they just don't want to hear it. And so, because they know that it's wrong, they know deep
Yeah.
down it's wrong. And I have the curriculum, I have the or not the curriculum, but I have the course outline and some of the PDFs that they're using, and it's scary what they're teaching. I mean, they teach
Yeah.
that even the teacher is an oppressor. And so if the teacher is an oppressor and the student's the oppressee, then, what is that teaching them? That they can just walk all over the teacher? I mean,
Yeah.
what's that going to do? I mean, it's going to backfire on them. So I just, and what's the student going to do when they leave the classroom? Are they going to be rude to a different teacher because that teacher they've already learned that a teacher is an oppressor? I mean, and I saw it at my old school district, or where I taught in Salinas. And so, the kids already have, don't have the most positive attitude toward teachers to begin with.
Yeah.
So then you teach them this, and it's not good. And then
To change gears a little bit, we keep talking about District 29 and how you're running there, but we
Okay.
don't know what District 29 is. We haven't mentioned what area do you cover?
So my area covers from San Martin. It starts in San Martin and goes all the way south to San Ardo,
Mm-hmm.
and all the way west to Watsonville, Castroville, mostly all of Corralitos, but I hear there's a little bit of Corralitos in somebody else's district.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember what number it is, but maybe it's 28.
Because it's on the
At
other,
any
it's
rate,
up in the hill there, right? Yeah.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I think
Mm-hmm.
so. And then, so all the way down the 101 corridor, Salinas, Gonzales, Soledad, and then Hollister, all of San Benito County. So it's 4 counties: Monterey County, San Benito, Santa Clara, and Santa Cruz.
Okay. Oh, so how far north does District 29? Does it go to San Jose
So
at all?
as No,
Oh,
it stops at San Martin. So
okay.
Gilroy, it covers Gilroy, and San Martin. It stops at, actually, my friend who lives on Maple Avenue.
Mm-hmm.
It covers one side of Maple Avenue, but not the north side of Maple.
Okay.
So she's on the south side of Maple, so that's where the cutoff is.
Okay. I'll put a map. I'll overlay a
Yeah,
map on here
yeah,
and show it. And I think your website. I'm looking at your website. I have it right here. It has a little map. Looks like it was on a business card or something. I'll overlay it so people can
yeah,
see it. But in terms of that district, there's not a lot of large cities. I'm going to say in that district, you're looking at a lot of rural, blue collar Californian folks, and so. Again,
yeah,
those were the old traditional Democrats, the blue collar Democrats. They supported the union, the little guy. And well, we
right,
look at Democrats now, and Nancy Pelosi represents a lot of them. These are very wealthy, well-to-do coastal, what we call the coastal liberal, right? Driving their
right.
Mercedes and their little Lululemons. They're really not representing that blue-collar hard worker anymore. They effectively gave them
No,
up. I mean, let's admit it. They gave them up. So that's a
right.
big core of your demographic that could and should be voting for you. So how are you getting out in front of them, and how are you marketing yourself to say, hey, I know you used to like these Democrats. Maybe you're a Democrat yourself, but hey, if these values they align with us, with me, and so how are you getting that out to them?
Well, I do have plans to get out there and go door to door. I'm hoping to line up or align with Karina. She is she's started the group Latinos for Medical Freedom, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
hoping to go out with her because she's bilingual. Unfortunately, I'm not bilingual,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm hoping to get out with her and go door to door. I do have a candidate statement out for Monterey County. So that'll be out in Spanish as well. So I'm
Okay.
hoping, I will reach the Hispanic population. And then I have some door hangers that are on order. And so I'm going to I have those also in Spanish and English. And
Yeah.
so I'll be walking my area soon and
Good.
just getting out there and talking to
Yeah.
people. But I have to, and I have another friend, Alma, who is also bilingual. Unfortunately, she's recovering right now from COVID. She
Mm-hmm.
and her family got COVID, but I'll be walking with her as well, and she's bilingual. And I'm hoping my daughter also would go out with me. She is bilingual. She attended a dual language school for many years and got her biliterate seal, but she's not really into politics. So
Mm.
I'm still trying to convince her.
She's
Yeah,
young. How old is she?
unfortunately,
How
she's 19.
19? Young.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
19, and
She
I
hasn't had to
still
pay a
can't.
lot of taxes yet. Wait till she gets
Exactly.
a good job and sees that paycheck and how much they took out of it.
Exactly. Yeah, she's not, and I wasn't really into politics either at her age. I
Mm.
just recently, it was probably when I became a teacher is when I started getting into politics more.
Mm.
And then even in the last couple years, probably when Trump, got into office is when I really saw
Mm.
the corruption.
Mm.
And that's when I really started paying attention
Yeah.
because the night of the election, I was watching. Well, actually, that was a couple years ago, but when he beat Hillary, I was like, just jaw dropped. I'm like, this is awesome. And I really paid attention when he was in office, because before that, when there was Democrats in office, I didn't really pay attention, a whole lot.
Hmm.
But when there was Republicans in office, I really paid attention.
Yeah.
So, I can see where she's coming from. I wasn't, really into politics then either. But,
Yeah.
she is bilingual, and I would love to, go out with her. And, I think if I did, she would probably appreciate it a lot more,
Hmm.
talking with people and hearing
Yeah.
them and hearing their sorrows and their woes, especially with the way inflation is, and
Hmm.
the gas prices and the high
Yeah.
taxes that we're paying at the pump, and
Hmm.
hearing how my opponent Robert Rivas voted to keep the gas tax high. He could have
Hmm.
voted voted yes to take it away, but instead he voted no to keep it in. And so people are hurting, they're hurting,
Hmm.
their pocketbooks are hurting. And
Yeah.
I would, love to get out there and talk to them and let them know how, I would help them. And,
Yeah.
just, and, when, I got to go to the bilingual, speaking and Spanish speaking, constituents, and speak to them
Mhm.
as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think I mentioned this when I think you I was talking to. I was like, bring a mariachi band out and put it out in the middle of a field somewhere. Just party. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, they're in
That's
their
right.
houses. They're stuck. They're down. They've been stuck in the house for 2 years. Heck, man,
That's right. Well,
flyer the whole
yeah.
neighborhood. Free mariachi at the park over here. Man,
Well, you
rock and
know what?
roll.
That's
Sponsored by Stephanie.
Yeah. Well, it's funny that you mentioned that. On May 1st, in the Santa Cruz Republican Party is having a free tacos.
Hmm.
Where is it going to be at? The VFW, I think.
Oh, cool.
And I don't know if they're going to have mariachis, but that is a great
Bring
idea.
it,
I
man.
should
Bring it.
tell them.
Yeah.
I hope they're having mariachis
All
because
right.
they're going to have an event. And Peter Hernandez, he's running for
Oh yeah, Peter.
Congress. He's going
Hmm.
to be there. Yeah,
Nice.
he's going to be there
Good
speaking.
guy.
And so I should ask them if they're going to have a mariachi band, because
Whew,
that
I
would
don't
be
know
a
though. I tell you what,
great.
you get mariachi tacos and the VFW guys. Oh man, I think back when I was drinking a bunch, I think the most I ever drank one time was with the VFW. Those old vets, man, they put it down, tell stories. So
Yeah,
great people,
yeah,
great
that's going to be
folks.
in Watsonville, I think. So
Ah, so cool.
on May 1st.
I might have to. My sister lives in Watsonville. Might have to give me an excuse to go down
Yeah,
and see my sis.
yeah,
So that's
yeah.
awesome.
Come join,
But yeah, you got a
come
lot of
join the
great
fun.
opportunities. Like I said, I think your name alone, Castro, it's gonna get there. If I ran Jason Clark, they wouldn't care how much Mexican blood I got in me. They don't care. His name's Clark. We ain't voting for him. But you got a good name. I think you've got a great platform. We say this all the time. The Hispanic community is so conservative. They're so conservative. I think maybe I mentioned this already in this interview, but man, they're small business owners, right? They love God. Well, I even wrote some notes earlier. Yeah, they're conservative. They're pro-life, right? They want to
Right,
get up. They want to go to work. They don't want to get taxed to death. They don't want their gas to cost $6 to go do a tile job somewhere. Not that all Mexicans do
right,
tile jobs, but let's face it. This is the D29. There's a lot of hardworking people down there. And they just want to
right.
go and do their job. And the thing too about their kids, they want their kids to go to school and get an education. A lot of them are
That's right.
immigrants, right? They're immigrants from other countries, and I just want my kid to learn to read, to write, to do math, to learn about the history of this country we
Right,
live in. They don't want all that other stuff. And so
right.
I just think the more Democrats in California start pushing the other stuff, it's such a great
Mm-hmm.
opportunity for Republicans like yourself, because you can start shining a light on that and going, hey, if you want your kids to learn and be prosperous in this most wonderful nation in the world, it ain't going to be by them learning those things, and
Right.
so I think the community that you're going to be representing is just so more aligned, and I just think Republicans in general, the Republican Party as a whole, just I feel they could just do such a better job. They could just do such a better job tapping into the emotion. We talked about this too, is the emotion. The
That's right.
emotional center of the brain is where decisions are made. Democrats learned that decades ago. They tap into it. They scare people into vote for me because they're going to take this away from you, and they're going to throw grandma off a cliff type thing, and they're going to do these. It's horrible. It's like, but it
Mm-hmm.
works. It works. It gets in
Mm-hmm.
the mind, and people get scared, and they get in the Mexican community, Hispanic community in general, very family oriented people. So anything that's a threat to my family, I have to protect it, right? Because this is all we got here, right? This is all we have.
That's right.
And so, oh man, I can't vote for the Republican. They're going to take away my benefits, You go, no, that's terrible. So, anyways, I think, like I said, when we met in Morgan Hill and had a conversation, I think it was good. That's why I wanted to have you on and just really talk
thank
about
you.
that.
I appreciate it.
All right, so what we're going to do right now is we're going to bring up your website here, Stephanie. So we're going to click on it, and Stephanie Castro, you might not be able to see this, but it's Stephanie Castro for California State Assembly 2022, and it just has your join the movement. But it does have, which is really good. It looks like on there, it just shows the things you stand for. Like school choice and low taxes, a very conservative, foundational type of platform. So yeah, I'm going to keep going just real quick through your website. So your support is there. So anybody watching, you want to go out, there's the GoFundMe there. I was going to say your values, all that. So anyways, I was just going to go through it real quick and then get involved. Look, if you want to help Stephanie, if you know anybody who's in a mariachi band, go click on that link right there, put your email in there, and Steffi's going to get, and then I'm going to be there and I'm going to rock and roll.
That's right. We could use a mariachi band on May 1st.
Yeah, absolutely. So anyways, so we're back here. I've got us back at your website. So yeah, I just wanted to show that. So any final words here? I really appreciate you coming on. Is there anything that I didn't bring up? I'm going to say, is there subject you wanted to discuss that's on your heart, you really wanted to get out there and tell the people of District 29?
Well, you touched briefly on small business owners, and that's another reason why I'm running. We had a rally back in, I think it was December of 2020, because I heard there's a Facebook page called Open SBC, and I heard from a lot of small business owners that were struggling. They got their business shut down, and I saw the heartbreak that they were enduring during this shutdown, and they could not, feed their families. And I was once a small business owner myself. My husband and I owned a small painting and decorating business, and so before I became a teacher. And so I really felt for them, and I thought, how can they make it? How are they able to provide for their families? And so we had a rally, and we had like an open mic time where they, got to talk about, what they were facing. And so that really stayed with me and resonated with me because, I couldn't imagine not being able to work and to provide for my family, pay my rent, for a building that I was renting, if I had a restaurant or, was teaching a yoga class or anything like that, I just couldn't imagine not being able to be open during that shutdown time. And I think that the government did a great disservice to our small businesses. And so that's another reason why I'm running, because I don't ever want to see that happen again. Yeah. I think these assembly bills and Senate bills that are looming over our heads is not right. I think they should just go away. And I'm going to make sure that they stay away, because we shouldn't feel, this sense of fear that this could happen to our people. It's just wrong. And that's another reason why I'm running. I foresaw this happening. I saw this coming down the pipe, and I just thought, what, somebody has got to, stand up to this and stop this. And, and like you said, I wanted to do something. I felt like, I just felt like, I couldn't do anything. And so that's one of the reasons why I'm standing up and stepping up, because I want to do something. I don't want to feel like I can't do anything. And, so I'm just hoping to be that voice for the voiceless and feel like the people, feel like they can't do anything about it. I want to be that person to do something about it.
Good. That's awesome. No, I think, like I said, I like your platform. I like the fact that you're out there running as a Republican and like I said, in a very, what they call a heavy Democratic, I'll say registered to vote Democratic district. But that doesn't mean anything, in my opinion. I think Democrats have gone just too far left. I'm born and raised, like I said, in San Jose. all my friends growing up, all my friends today are all liberal Democrats, and
Yep,
so I think in
mine
some
too.
degree I understand how they think, how they operate, and it has gone so far. It's gone so
Hmm.
far that it's just left a huge hole, a gaping opportunity for Republicans, and so that's why, like I said, that's why I liked what you were supporting. I love that you're running as a Republican.
Thank
Like I
you.
said, I don't want any Republicans out there to be feared that they're running in a heavily D district. That doesn't nowadays that doesn't mean anything. If it was
No,
1966, that might mean
right,
something, but it is a whole
right.
new world, and
Yes, we
so
are. Yes. Yeah, we are going to reach out to the Democrats. We're going to,
mhm,
talk to them and remind them that, you know what, you're probably conservative and you just don't know it. You
mhm,
have the same values as us.
mhm,
You're hardworking and you don't want to see, some of these things that we don't want to see. And so we're going
mhm,
to reach out to those voters and we're
absolutely.
going to, change their votes.
Heck yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, change the votes, win their hearts, and
Yep.
you know, just
That's right.
like you said, slowly bring it back. And like, I just, yeah, for any Californian who's thinking of leaving, if you're in District 29, don't leave until June 7th, I believe, is the primary, correct?
That's right, June 7th. Although
Mhm.
there are two running, just me and Robert Rivas. So
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I'm going on to November. So don't leave until after
Yeah,
after November 8th.
there
November
you
8th
go.
is the general.
There you
So
go.
yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, and don't leave at all. We need you
Sure.
here. We need you
Mhm.
for future
Yeah.
elections. We need to turn this state red again. I believe it's
Mhm.
redder than it is.
It is.
It's
Yeah. Yeah. Hey,
it's probably a little more purple.
yeah. I mean, look at Tulare County, and in Bakersfield. That's Devin Nunes country. That's Kevin McCarthy country. Ronald
Right.
Reagan came from California, so I think, and I'll say this too,
Exactly.
just to maybe we're trying to close this out, but I'm over here rambling. But in a real estate conversation, Proposition 19 now allows any homeowner, 55 or older, disabled veteran, or victim of a wildfire or some natural disaster, you can sell your home and move anywhere in California. And I'm going to do some videos in the future here on what I'm calling Red State California, where we got California is the home of state of Jefferson, right up in Redding. I mean, you want to talk about conservative, man? It doesn't get more conservative than the northern Redding, California border up that way. I mean,
Right.
it's very
Right.
red. And like I said, we got if when Larry Elder ran in the recall, the if you look at
Hmm.
the vote totals by county, you can drive from Los Angeles to the Oregon border and drive through a Larry Elder county from top to
That's
bottom.
right.
So
That's right.
there's a lot of counties in California that could serve a lot of Californians. So if you want to, here, and I make this
That's true.
pitch to a lot of people. I talk to people all the time, and I say, look, you don't have to leave California. If you have family in California, you don't want to leave. You love the ocean, you love the mountains. You can stay, but you can still sell your house. Obviously, the real estate guy, he's like, I can still sell your house. But yeah, there's a lot of
Yeah.
reasons to stay in California. Again, I help people who want to leave as well. But I think you made a great case on why we should stay, why we should fight. But yeah, Stephanie Castro, thank you so much. Great
You're
interview.
welcome. Thank you.
Yeah. So
Thanks for
January
having
or
me.
June 7th, get out there, gonna get Stephanie through the primary, and then we're gonna get it in November, and we're gonna start
That's right.
inching our way back here in California. It's gonna be awesome. All right,
Yes.
Stephanie. Thank you so much. I
All right.
appreciate you taking the time today.
All right. Thank you.
Uh,
Bye.